After spending 1,000 hours editing, I came to see that most people waste their time focusing on the wrong things. It's not about fancy plugins, complicated transitions or secret effects combinations. Instead, there are 7 key elements that matter far more than nearly everything else I've learned. The last one explains why some videos feel polished and complete, while others always seem a bit off. Whether you're making edits, YouTube videos, reels or cinematic projects, these are the aspects that truly count. And first is timing. This is more important than effects. If your cuts don't lie right, nothing else can save the video. You might have the best transitions, color grading or text, but if the cuts feel too early, late or just random, the whole video don't feels. Many beginners think better effects will fix their videos, but really, they just need to improve the timing first. This, I realized, is quite straightforward. The next one is the mistake that cost me the most time, and it's about sound. But not only about sound design, rhythm plays a critical role. Many people complete the editing before searching for music, and I used to do that too. But the approach complicated things. When I picked the music first, I grasped the energy, pacing and emotional tone from the start. That makes building cuts, visuals and sound effects much easier. Music sets the pulse, something to respond to. Once the rhythm is established, even simple edits feel more deliberate. Layering sound design over the rhythm transforms a random sequence into something unified. A well-timed sound can make even a basic cut feel professional. And yo, I wish someone told me this way earlier. Text matters a lot. Most people assume better text means more effects like glow, blur, emboss, but often it doesn't. Good text tends to be simpler. It's about picking the right font, placing it suitably in the frame, and deciding if it should catch the viewer's eye or just support visuals. A weak font choice can make the video seem cheap immediately. Poor text placement leaves the viewer unsure where to focus. And if every text element demands attention, none of it stands out. Sometimes text should be bold and obvious, other times subtle and understated. Understanding this difference is far more valuable than peeling on stylistic effects, and this is still not the biggest thing I learned. Still, good text won't save a frame if the viewer doesn't know what to focus on. If everything competes for attention, nothing feels important. A well-composed shot guides the eye clearly. To do this, you might tone down the background, emphasize a certain color, reduce clutter, or create clean contrast between the subject and its surroundings. When the viewer must search for the main point, the impact weakens. Many videos don't look cheap because of poor footage, but because they lack visual control. Once you recognize this, it becomes impossible to ignore. Next, the element that transformed my workflow more than any editing shortcut. I realized I was spending more time searching than creating. Hunting for sounds, presets, rebuilds on setups, digging through folders, it all broke my creative flow. A slow workflow doesn't mean you have less talent, it means your focus keeps getting interrupted, which leads to poorer decisions. That's why I began developing tools aligned with how I actually work. Tools for sound, text, speed, designed to keep me immersed in creative process without constant disruptions. For example, with Beat Sound, I can quickly preview sounds and drop them onto the timeline without leaving the edit. My other packs and tools are essentially my workflow turned into products, saving me hours doing the same thing in every project. This change probably saved me hundreds of hours. However, speed alone won't elevate your videos if you fall into the next trap. One of the hardest lessons was that more does not equal better. Adding more effects, transitions, overlays or movement often hides the video rather than enhance it. There is a big difference between polish and over-editing. Good polish adds a sense of value without calling attention to itself. Over-editing feels uncertain, as if the editor is trying to cover weaknesses. I once thought peeling on effects improved my videos, but really, it buried them under noise. Simplicity and control almost always win, even a more professional feel. Everything up to this point matters, but this is the most important part. Finally, the lesson that put all previous steps together, this insight changed everything. Crafting a polished video can't be done in one pass, or by perfecting every second immediately. The approach slows you down and clouds your judgment. Instead, videos should be built step by step. First comes the structure, the rough cut, then timing, followed by motion, text and visual enhancements, sound design, and lastly, the final polish. Trying to fix tiny details too early makes the edit inconsistent and prevents a solid foundation. But layering changes the process entirely. You are no longer guessing, but shaping the video gradually. This explains why some edits feel complete and others like random shit. Like my videos. It's not just about talent, it's about the process. What revolutionized my work was So after those 1000 hours, this is what really matters to me.